Welcome inside our New York studios. Beanie Wells, Kevin Carter. I'm Brent Stover. Big Ten on CBS Game of the Week. And one of the best showdowns of the season to this point. 7th-ranked Indiana paying a visit to Eugene to face number 3 Oregon. The two quarterbacks in this one, Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza, had combined for 30 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions heading into the game. And it was an absolute thriller. Both teams coming in 5-0. Incredible crowd. Signetti bringing his team on the road, looking to shock him. Dante Moore with a deep shot early in a 3-0 game. Malik Benson, 44-yard touchdown, duck 7-3. On a third down, Indiana responds immediately. Mendoza dropping back, able to extend the drive. The Hoosiers in business indeed.
Next to Indiana play, Roman Hemby, right up the gut, fights for the touchdown. Hoosiers would lead 13-10 at the half. Second half, Indiana tie ball game. Hemby up the middle, punches it in. Hoosiers up 20-13. Indiana looking to add to their lead. Mendoza throwing left on 3rd and 2. It's picked off by Brandon Finney Jr. And the Oregon freshman is going to take this for a house call. Pick 6. Ducks defense ties it up at 20.
Ensuing Indiana possession, Mendoza screen pass to Elijah Surratt. He finds a running lane. It is good for 29 yards and out of bounds at the 8-yard line. 3 plays later, Mendoza to Surratt again, this time for the score. Indiana answers with the pick 6 at the 12th play, 75-yard drive. Hoosiers take a 27-20 lead. Oregon turns to answer. Dante Moore's pass is deflected and picked off by Lewis Moore. Indiana wins 30-20.
Go across the country and take it in that environment. Just incredible. The Hoosiers are 6-0, 3-0 in the Big Ten. Ducks fall for the first time and now 2-1 in the conference in the loss. Moore throws 2 interceptions. He was 21-34 for 186. But Fernando Mendoza, 20-31, 215 and a score. Roman Hemby, a couple of scores on the ground. Surratt, 8 receptions, 121 and a touchdown. Kevin, what a win for Curt Cignetti and his guys.
Yeah, signature win for Indiana. I think, we keep asking him, when we hear the interviews and they talk about the coach speak, everyone's worried about what's the perception of Indiana? Have you got the monkey off of your back now? Well, beating a team like Oregon on the road in their backyard, the way they won this game, says everything that you need to know about the Indiana Hoosiers. They're built right along the line of scrimmage. They are tough. 2 things you got to bring with you when you go on the road: your run game and your defense. Defense came up with 6 sacks today. And they outdueled Oregon in the run game, 111 yards to 81 yards. This was a sound win for Indiana. But, we always talk about where you play them, when you play them, but it matters how you play. This defense was physical, stingy at the point of attack all day long, making use. Look, the Oregon defense had to come up with a score just to get them back into this one. Indiana is a team that's for real. And, after today, I don't think there's any way you can spin this any other way.
Yeah, there's nothing about it, man. Indiana is a for-real football team. What Curt Cignetti's been able to do with this team and getting them just to gel, buy in. And let's not forget, he has a bunch of guys in the transfer portal for a second year that he's pitting together out there on the football field, but they're much better than last year's football team out of the transfer portal. These guys are playing together. They're playing complementary football. And yes, the quarterback play for both of these guys, they weren't like gaudy numbers, but I thought Fernando Mendoza, when he had to, he made decisive decisions that put his offense in position to sustain drives. And that's something that Dante Moore necessarily didn't do. And you saw the inexperience in Dante Moore in this football game, trying to force a couple of throws, and those throws that he forced ended up being turnovers that were costly in this football game. Fernando Mendoza, in my opinion, is not only one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten, but one of the best in the country. I love the way he makes decisions. I love the way he elevates the play of the individuals around him.
They should beat every team left on the schedule. Look at that, 71% for the season, 237 yards a game. Doesn't make mistakes. One of those picks was actually today, but 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. This team was arguably the best story in college football a year ago. I would argue, Kevin, that Indiana's roster this year and the way they are playing through the first half of the regular season, that they are actually better this year than they were last season.
To your point, Brent, and we talked about this last night, he and I were talking about this matchup today, and we said, you know what? I think Indiana looks better. They look more dominant. I think last year they had a collective IQ that was pretty high. They had guys that had played together, had a bunch of guys that had come from JMU, right? And they kind of knew each other, so they play fast, right? Their relative football IQ collectively and just allowed them to play faster, and they looked better than they were. But, of course, they came back down to earth when they squared off against a team like Ohio State or Oregon or someone like that. Not the case this year, okay? Along the line of scrimmage and all those little devil in the detail stats, I mean, it's Indiana who's the one who's doling out, the punishment. Look, defensively, 6 sacks on the day, only 64 yards of total offense in the second half, 1 rushing yard. This is an utter domination where you make the adjustments at halftime, and, man, you pin your ears back and you just get after the quarterback. This was a sound win today, and, yes, they are better than they were last year from a personnel standpoint, it seems like.
Beanie, I want to talk to you about Signetti. And when you play for a guy like that just shoots from the hip. I realize that doesn't work when you're losing games, but he waltzed in there from day one at the press conference when he says, Google me, and that set the tone for this program and for his players that you better get on board, that we're going to be confident, even a little bit borderline arrogant in the way we conduct ourselves and the way we play games.
Teams tend to take on the personality of their head coach. When you have a leader that is ultra confident and you're out there going and displaying not just that confidence and bravado, but you're actually showing on paper that you are a legitimate football team, and Curt Cignetti's been able to do that everywhere that he's went. His team is buying into that. His team is motivated by the fact that they got a coach that's going to go out there and pound their chest and tell people that we are the real deal. We've arrived. We're here. Last year, they had a taste. They had a taste of what it was like to be a team that was, kind of scratching the surface to being a nationally relevant team. They got smacked in the mouth by Ohio State, got smacked in the college football playoff. Now they went back, ate that humble pie, and they are feeling themselves right now and showing the world that they are real.
We'll tie a bow on Oregon in a moment. Quickly want to pop up the Indiana remaining schedule. The reason it's really important to do this, with 6 games left in the regular season, they don't play another ranked team. It's Michigan State, it's UCLA, it's Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue. We saw Penn State go on the road and lose yet again to Northwestern. All of these, in my mind, should be victories. Different conversation for a different day. Quickly, let's touch on Dante Moore and the off day for the star quarterback of the Oregon Ducks. Kevin?
Look, whenever your quarterback has some difficulty and throws a couple of picks, that's usually indicative that there are other things that aren't quite living up to what you expect them to be. Okay, a few errant throws, timing's off, but that's because Indiana was putting pressure on him. They were speeding up his internal clock, his progression clock to get through his reads and deliver the football where it had to go. That's the result of pressure on a quarterback. Coach Houston used to say that pressure, it cooks a ham, right? Or it can make diamonds. But in this case, man, it cooked the ham. Dante Moore has been masterful all season long in leading this team. But sometimes you run into a superior defense or a superior quarterback play, and the combination thereof on the other side is just too much.
They don't play another ranked team either. So, yeah, listen, Oregon we should see both of these teams in the college football play. Of course, it'll have a lot to do with what other teams do and what each of them does in the potential Big Ten championship. 30-20, Indiana goes on the road and beats Oregon.